Economic development is the third pillar of Somalia's National Development Plan, but it is not third in importance, and it certainly takes up a lot more room in the document than the other pillars. In part, this is because there are so many opportunities to expand the Somali economy. This is due to a growing and more educated workforce. Also, Somalia is participating in the global economy. This entails regional investors and markets, infrastructure and trade cooperation with Somalia's neighbors. The nation receives a lot of money from donors, but the government realizes this will not go on forever.
inaynu sanadba 2 bilyan baa la bixiyay laakiin ay tahay sanad kasta oo inay soo yaraata lacagta gargaarka oo isu bedesha lacag horumarin iyo maalgashi laakiin sanad kasta ku jira gargaar degdeg iyo nafku celis iyo qofka gargaar waxba khaldan qof markuu noo yimaado.
So the National Development Plan focuses on supporting key economic sectors. They include construction, infrastructure, energy, ICT, finance, manufacturing. Construction of infrastructure is wide-ranging and potentially very labor-intensive. Somalia needs roads, ports, and civil aviation facilities. It also requires water supply infrastructure, markets, and sanitation. Commercial buildings and residential housing need to be built as well. Besides funding for the projects, the NDP calls on the government to take the following actions. Promote the market for low-cost housing through tax incentives to the market for affordable, good-quality housing for the poor. Establish an accessible system of financing that helps the less well-off buy their homes. Improve construction sector skills to match the labor demand with supply. Nationwide vocational training, targeting the youth and displaced persons. Strengthen building standards and health and safety regulation. Urban planning and infrastructure development to support growth in the sector and improve living standards of cities. The energy sector involves infrastructure as well to generate power for commercial and residential use. The NDP briefly mentions developing renewable energy sources. In the long term, petroleum has a huge potential to produce revenue. A petroleum law has been passed by the government, defining how revenue will be shared. The Planning Ministry has addressed this area with the following recommendations. The petroleum sector development should be integrated in the country's strategic vision of its overall economic and social development. Exploitation of petroleum resources should contribute to peace, stability, shared prosperity, and sustainable development. The government must put special emphasis on human resource development in petroleum operations. Initially, the government will sell off blocks of territory as oil concessions. The revenue generated should be used to fund various initiatives called for throughout the National Development Plan. The ICT sector has a dominant player, Hormuz Telecom, not mentioned in the document. The NDP does signal support for expanding the industry through nationwide connectivity and expansion of ICT infrastructure. This will create jobs and revenue, whether it is within Hormuz or spread among new or existing companies. The finance sector currently includes the Central Bank of Somalia, 6 commercial banks with branches in urban areas, 14 money transfer companies handling foreign remittances, 3 mobile money transfer conglomerates serving specific regions. Remittances total over $1.5 billion annually. 1 out of every 5 Somali households receive them. Mobile money transfers move 36% of Somalia's GDP, mostly internally. That is $2.7 billion per month. Security of the financial system is the government's biggest concern. as it has grown organically and will continue to grow. Manufacturing accounts for an estimated 10% of the nation's GDP, according to the National Development Plan. There are many factors holding the industry back, including lack of infrastructure. But the NDP has identified ways the government can help, including promotion of investment, development of industrial hubs along the trade corridors, professional and technical and vocational training, with a particular emphasis on the inclusion of women, young people, and displaced persons, developing regulatory standards for manufacturing of products. The growth of the economy is vital, as the government doesn't have enough money currently to fund all of the NDP's initiatives. The government will also be accountable for the money it does have.
waddankeena saa la socotay budgetka dawladdu waa yaryahay budget yar ayaa loo qoondeeyay arrimaha bulshada caafimaadka iyo waxbarashada kale marka ma dabooli karto baahiyaha ku jira qorshaha qaranka waxaan sameynay.
But with anticipated oil and gas funds, expansion of food resources and trade, as well as wise investments in other areas, more revenue can be produced. The economic development that the NDP envisions is possible. Poverty can be reduced. In Part 9 of our series on the National Development Plan, we will look at Pillar 4, social inclusion.